Now in News 4 at 6, developing in South Carolina, what we're learning about a shooting at a grade school.
Plus, why the attorney for a father found guilty of manslaughter in a deadly crash says this case isn't over yet.
If you're planning to build a house or a home improvement, you should also plan on digging deeper into your pocket. We'll tell you why.
We begin with a developing story tonight out of South Carolina. A teenager is in custody after police say he shot and killed his father and then opened fire at an elementary school. Police say 2 students and a teacher were wounded.
Authorities say it's not clear if there was any relationship between the suspect and the school victims. Shots rang out just before 2 o'clock at the Townville Elementary School. News 4's Nalina Shapiro has the latest on the investigation. Nalina?
Well, Jackie and Don, police in South Carolina just held a news conference about an hour ago. They did not give any information about the condition of the 2 young kids who were shot, but the Greenville News is reporting a 6-year-old boy is still in critical condition. Police swarmed Townville Elementary School after those shots were fired early this afternoon. Again, 3 people were shot. That shooting happened after police say the teen shot and killed his father at a home a couple of miles away from the school. A hospital spokesperson told the Associated Press another boy was already released from the hospital and that the teacher, a woman, is in good condition. Police spoke just about an hour ago again, but did not give out a lot of information again about the victims.
At approximately 1:45 this afternoon, an individual with a gun entered the premises of Townville Elementary School and injured 2 of our students and 1 of our teachers. We do not know the extent of the injuries at this time, but all are receiving medical care.
911 received a call from his family a short time after the incident at Townville, and when officers arrived, they found Mr. Osborne deceased. He died from a gunshot wound, and we believe at this time that it is connected to the incident at Townville.
Classes at the school have been canceled now for the rest of the week. Counseling is also being offered. Scott Pelley will have much more on this breaking news story coming up on the CBS Evening News. Reporting live in the studio, Nalina Shapiro, News 4 at 6.
I think that there's finally justice for Tristan. He had no one to speak for him.
If the judge and the jury can't do what's right, then I don't know who can.
Prosecutors are claiming victory, and a man's attorney is vowing to fight back. Almost a year after a 4-year-old boy was killed in a gruesome crash on Route 16 in the town of Sardinia, his father has been found guilty of manslaughter. Now, that was the verdict the jury returned today to bring Kevin McCabe's trial to a close.
But McCabe's attorney says this case is far from over. News 4's Katie Alexander was in the courtroom and has the latest from State Supreme Court in downtown Buffalo.
It took several hours of discussions, but at 11:14 this morning, the jury sent in a note saying it had reached its verdicts. Those verdicts found Kevin McCabe guilty of manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child. The jury acquitted McCabe on other charges of aggravated vehicular homicide and vehicular assault.
They could have done something different, but I would have to assess that they did the right thing.
What the jury did is basically say Kevin McCabe should be held accountable for the crash last October that killed his 4-year-old son Tristan and severely injured his niece. But they said he wasn't impaired at the time. Both of the kids were in the front seat of McCabe's pickup truck, not in proper child safety restraints, when the pickup slammed into the back of a semi on Route 16 that had slowed down on the shoulder to make a turn. Prosecutors say blood samples found methamphetamine in McCabe's system at the time of the crash. But an expert who testified during the trial said the tests used could not identify what kind of methamphetamine it was.
There's no doubt there was methamphetamine present. The issue was what type.
He couldn't tell when they tested the methamphetamine if it was the bad meth or if it was cold medicine. And they didn't do the proper testing. And he also said that he couldn't give an opinion as to whether or not what was in his system would have impaired him.
McCabe and his family have maintained that what happened was a tragic accident, not a crime. And his attorney says there are strong grounds for an appeal. But before it gets to that, he's going to get to work to try to get the jury's manslaughter verdict set aside.
If they didn't find him impaired, there's no manslaughter charge. There's never been a case in the history of New York State that you can find someone guilty of manslaughter because the child was not in a child safety seat. I cited cases to the judge before we came here today. And he knows it. I know it, and there's going to be a motion.
I think he's perhaps overreacting to what he thinks he has, and as I say, we'll deal with it in court when it's filed.
Bail was set at $100,000, and McCabe's lawyer says his client will likely not be able to come up with that money. So McCabe will stay in custody until he's sentenced at the end of October. He's facing 5 to 15 years in prison at that point. Reporting in Buffalo, Katie Alexander, News 4.
Dunkirk police are investigating a deadly train accident. They say 2 people were walking along the tracks, and one of them was struck and killed by a train. It happened just after midnight on Middle Road. Police are looking for that second person, hoping he or she can shed some light on what happened before the accident. The name of the victim has not been released yet, but anyone with information is asked to call the number on your screen.
Authorities across the country and here in Western New York are using a new tool when dealing with a possible explosive device. A robot was brought in after a bomb exploded in New York City earlier this month, and just after that, when a backpack was found unattended in Niagara Falls. Well, today, the Erie County Sheriff's Office rolled out its secret weapon.
And News 4's Callan Gray is here in the studio to show us how it works. Callan?
Don, Jackie, these robots are equipped with cameras, a handle to do some grabbing, and in some cases weapons, and they can go anywhere, they can drive. Today, Erie County Sheriff's deputies gave us a tutorial on how the robots work.
Bomb disarming robots are taking over the front line, like tackling threats in New Jersey and New York City and investigating scares like a suspicious backpack right here in Niagara Falls.
Technology is a wonderful thing that gets us to a certain point. We will do as much as we can as possible, robotically and remotely.
Cameras on the robots allow the Erie County Sheriff's Office bomb squad to check out the scene and capture x-rays as they maneuver the robots remotely from a handheld control or from a response vehicle. They are equipped with an arm to grab things, and weighing anywhere from 60 to 700 pounds, they can go anywhere they can fit.
If we can go remote without sending one of my bomb techs down scene, I will take that option every time. This robot you see behind me, that's replaceable. We can get a new one. What I can't replace is the life of one of the bomb techs.
10-year bomb squad veteran Captain Bill Cranston says they take the robots to 60 to 80 calls a year. That includes both emergencies and pre-planned large events like Sabres and Bills games. He says national events has increased the number of calls they have. Bomb techs across the country go through 6 weeks of training together in Alabama. Even when they're back home, they work together to address new threats.
What was the device? How was it manufactured or built? What fires it? And if we see something like this, you know, we're constantly in the bomb tech community. We share intelligence with each other and try and keep in front.
The Erie County Bomb Squad also works closely with the FBI, ATF, and military. They respond to calls in Niagara, Genesee, Wyoming, and Cattaraugus counties. Reporting live, Callan Gray, News 4 at 6.
It's a big day for a little girl who's been battling a rare brain tumor. We first met Ella Schur and her parents back in May. She was diagnosed when she was almost 5 months old.
After chemotherapy and several surgeries, the brain tumor is now gone. News 4's Dave Graber has more about the amazing news from Golisano Children's Hospital in Rochester.
When we first introduced you to baby Ella back in May, her chances at survival were slim. The form of brain cancer she has is so aggressive and so rare, only about 50 other children in the United States are diagnosed with it. But baby Ella is not only strong, she's sure strong. Music has played a role in Ella Schur's treatment, like when she was first diagnosed and a Florida musician assured her and her family everything would be all right. But likely no song has sounded sweeter than the one played before a small but enthusiastic crowd here at Golisano Children's Hospital on Wednesday.
Go out and celebrate and live your life, saying ayo, no more chemo.
Perhaps the only better sound. The bell signaling the end of her treatment. She spent most of her 10 months in and out of hospitals, but for now, Ella is cancer-free.
It's a huge, huge journey we've just completed. It's so emotional, just because you don't know if you're even going to get here. And then, you know.
It feels really good to see that, that kids can get better and that there are kids out there with long odds who can beat those odds and tolerate a lot of treatments well. Ella's parents, Megan and Joe, are just great people, really nice people. And I think, everyone at our institution, I know at other institutions too, have really liked working with them. They're really, really grateful people and really fun people. So it's been great to work with them.
Doctors tell me that Ella's fight isn't fully over just yet. She'll continue to have MRIs in the weeks and months to come to ensure the cancer doesn't return. But she has proven to be such a strong fighter. Doctors say her outlook is very good because fighting is more than half the battle. Reporting in Rochester, Dave Graber, News 4 at 6.
Wonderful to see it, Dave. Thank you. Well, new tonight, New York State is rolling out new safety measures that could have you shelling out more money. New building and fire codes will take effect next Monday.
News 4's Al Vaughters is here to break down what home and business owners need to know. Al?
Well, Don and Jackie, the rules and regulations contractors and even building inspectors have to know under this new code is mind-boggling. It's supposed to make our homes safer and more energy efficient. And if you're planning to build a new home or even do any home improvements, you should plan on shelling out more money. There's nothing subtle about the state's new building and fire prevention code. It's changing how our homes look and raising the cost.
We hear numbers from $7,000 to $12,000 for compliance to this code versus the old code.
Todd Blackley is a building consultant who schools builders, contractors, and code enforcement officers on the changes. Reams of regulations home builders will have to comply with when the new code takes effect.
No question about it. There's a lot to digest. There's a lot of thousands of pages of code to go through.
Bill Tyne, president of the New York State Builders Association, says the most obvious change, every new home with a basement is required to have what's called an egress window or door with drainage into the sump pump.
So that someone could get out of the basement if in fact something went wrong and something happened, a fire started. They have something that's pretty big, 16 square feet, looks like this one is, to get out of the house if they needed to.
The same goes if you're planning to add living space to the basement of an existing home, as Liz Noe learned when she added a bedroom to her downstairs and found there's an upside.
It was a good choice, and not only for the safety factor, it also ups the value of my home because now my house is a 4-bedroom home instead of a 3-bedroom home.
Even if it's a playroom, an exercising room, and some towns will even say even if there is a bathroom in the basement, okay? So any way that you are possibly living in a basement, you're gonna need a way out.
The new rules cover fire prevention and fire safety as they apply to new builds and installing solar arrays. With minimum spacing between the solar panels now written into the law, homeowners now might have to plan on smaller roof arrangements. HVAC contractors now have to install metal ductwork for their return vents rather than just enclosing the space between floor joists, and it has to be airtight.
Everything now has to be that same nice, shiny, metal-looking pipe that we can seal up pretty easily because they have to be tested now, where they didn't before.
Bill Tyne says the cost impact of the new regulations depends on what a homeowner's starting point is. If the house was going to be large and energy efficient, not as much as a cost-conscious consumer trying to keep it simple.
As a percentage basis, that's true. The smaller the house, the greater the impact is on a percentage basis.
So what is a prospective homeowner to do in light of all the new regulations that are about to complicate building or improving a home? Tyne says hire a contractor who's qualified, knows the new rules and regulations, and has a solid track record. And he suggests starting with the Builders Association.
When we build a house for someone, we create a set of drawings, and then not only are those reviewed by our professionals and are stamped by building professionals and design professionals, they are also then reviewed by code enforcement officials for compliance with all the proper codes.
Tyne warns taking shortcuts or hiring a contractor that's not familiar with the new code can be heartbreaking. A family could have a beautiful brand new home costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they can't move in.
What the end of it is a certificate of occupancy that enables you to occupy that structure. Without that, you may have a structure standing, but no one's allowed to live in it. So it's really important that it's built properly and is certified as safe.
Now, if you've bought a new furnace or hot water tank recently, you know all about the carbon monoxide and hardwired smoke detectors. But starting next week, the rules change for venting the hot water tanks. Again, starting Monday, it's a whole new ball game. Al Vaughters, News 4 at 6.
Wow.
you look at those regulations and you think, how can anyone keep up with that?
It's unbelievable.
That is a change.
So if you need a new water tank, get it before Monday.
Yeah, that's right. Well, our chief meteorologist, Todd Santos, is live for us from Delaware Park tonight. Todd?
And it is a beautiful night to be out here. Quiet conditions. We have had a few more clouds rolling through, but the sunshine has been at least hitting some of the trees behind me here. You can see some nice fall colors starting, just the very leading edge of some of those. Now, earlier this year, back in the summer, we did have a few trees even losing leaves. Some of that was drought stress as well, helping that. Now, for today, we've seen a lot of sunshine across the area. Looking up in toward, they say, the Lockport sky cam starts off with a lot of blue, and then you start seeing some thicker clouds. We're likely to see the clouds building up overnight tonight on tomorrow, ahead of this next chance for a little bit more widespread rain. Temperatures still on the very nice side of things. Warmed up quite a bit more in Buffalo, especially thanks to our wind direction out of the east and southeast today, where it's the cooler areas, especially now getting across the eastern southern interior, finding a lot of mid to lower 60s. We're still looking at milder overnight lows even for those areas. And I wanted to use the model just to show that, because we had, especially this past weekend, some pretty cool numbers into Sunday morning and again Monday morning. Well, in this case, for tomorrow morning, we bottom out in the lower 50s to the south, upper 50s to the north. So most areas getting back into the 50s, just not a worry at all of frost conditions. For tomorrow afternoon, the model trying to push some areas into the upper 60s, including Dunkirk. The biggest limiting factor will be, where do we see some of these showers? Winds out of the east at 16 miles per hour in Buffalo right now. I do expect most areas to go to the east into tomorrow. It is going to still remain gusty across the area for your Thursday, and especially out towards Lake Ontario. We'll have a small craft advisory that'll be in effect basically right through 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Same area of low pressure sitting there at the mid and upper levels in the atmosphere, especially just off to our south and west. You can see the more widespread rain. We've had a few showers not too far outside of the area, mainly across Lake Erie, but as that low gets a bit closer to us, we'll start to see the better chance for some of these on and off showers. Forewarned Doppler showing quiet conditions right now. You can see a few of those showers that made their way fairly close to the western edge of Grand Island. So for tonight, once you get closer to midnight and beyond, may dodge an isolated sprinkle here and there, so don't be surprised if you hear that, especially on a metal roof. It's going to be mainly light rain. I may not hear it in bigger homes. Looking at Friday, we'll still deal with these on and off showers. Thursday itself, this model is not overly excited for any, say, long, prolonged periods of rain, but at least some spotty showers on and off. I think Friday may have slightly longer periods of rain, and that chance will last into Saturday as well. This Saturday morning, the end of this model. I can tell you right now, a lot of the models are at least keeping some rain into Sunday and a slight chance on into Monday. I do expect, though, to see long breaks in the rainfall, especially Sunday, and just that very slight chance to follow it up on Monday. So for tonight, a few sprinkles here and there, similar to last night. Temperatures dropping back in through the 50s. Still could see some wind gusts near 20 miles per hour. For tomorrow, the gust potential gets to around 30. With those temperatures, the warmest areas will be those of you who manage to escape the showers at least through the first half of the day. If you don't see rain until, say, 1, 2 in the afternoon, you'll see the better chance to get those warmer temperatures. There's a look at that small craft advisory for Lake Ontario, and still the very gusty conditions that we'll be dealing with, especially on into tomorrow. Temperature-wise, this is the nicest part of the story. Even into the weekend, we keep still a fairly mild flow across the area. So despite the fact that we'll be dodging some showers, of the 2 days, Saturday does look like the better day for rain. We are going to still see daytime highs above average, really from Thursday right on through into the beginning of this coming week. I do expect to see more wide open sunshine from wall to wall throughout the day into Tuesday and Wednesday, still holding on to some of those pretty nice overnight low temperatures as well. So we'll continue to keep a close eye out there for any frost potential, but right now it looks good right through the tail end of the 7-day, with still some nice days to spend some time outdoors to look forward to. From Hoyt Lake, send it back to you, Don, Jackie.
With Tom Brady suspended, the question is who will be the starting quarterback for the Patriots this Sunday. New England could have a third option.
Yeah, sports director Josh Reed tells us about a prank phone call today in a failed attempt to discover the Patriots' plan.
So here's the Patriots quarterback puzzle. Jimmy Garoppolo was injured last week, so Jacoby Brissett started and won the game. Jimmy Garoppolo could be healthy by Sunday and play. The other option would be wide receiver Julian Edelman, who actually played quarterback in college. An undercover reporter tried to squeeze some info out of Edelman.
Julian, this is Walt Patulski from the Buffalo News. Are you playing quarterback this week?
Huh?
Are you playing quarterback this week?
Well, I'm going to do whatever the coaches ask me to do. So, if they ask me to go out and give a glass of water to someone on the sideline, I'm going to do that with a smile on my face if it helps our team win. So, you can ask Coach that one.
All right, Julian, I will, buddy.
Nothing says Patriots week like a prank phone call from Rex. The Bills head coach says he knows who will start at quarterback for the Patriots. Wasn't willing to tell us, however. The players, they are prepared to face all three options.
We got film on all those guys. I mean, the rookie, we don't have that much film, but he didn't do that much because they were up by so much. They kind of ran the ball a lot. So with those guys, I mean, Garoppolo had a really good couple of games. So we got to go out there prepare differently for each one. Those two use their legs a lot more. And Edelman, I mean, he played in the MAC with Kent State, so he had some good quarterback time. So we'll watch that a little bit, I'm sure, to see what he was doing. Yeah, we'll pull up everything to see what he was doing just in case. I mean, we never know. I mean, he might get out there.
Injury updates for you. Charles Clay, Sammy Watkins, and Cyrus Kwanjo did not practice. Meanwhile, Ron Darby and Cordy Glenn were limited. In Orchard Park, Josh Reed, News 4 Sports.
Still to come, why the Aquarium of Niagara needs to revamp an exhibit to save the penguins.
Captioning of News 4 is sponsored by Transit Town.
Trust Transit Town.
Life on the streets can be a dangerous road to take.
I've been shot 2 times.
Local gang members are sharing their stories about life inside.
The streets don't love me.
Why they felt they had no other options and why others shouldn't make the same mistake. News 4, Thursday at 6. Follow News 4 on your favorite social media.
Louis Deli has an all-new location. Stop in and see our newly expanded deli directly across from the Mercedes-Benz dealer on Main Street. Louis Deli serves the best in specialty sandwiches, subs, dinner, and dessert. Louis Deli, new location in Williamsville.
It's fall. Time to gather the troops, get inspired, and fill some tags so that you can serve up a season they won't forget. Cabela's Ultimate Outfitter Sale. Get 30% off select men's camo layering apparel. Shop in-store or at Cabela's.com.
Hey, honey. You remember to lock the Buick, right?
Of course I do. I'd never forget that.
The My Buick app, now available in every Buick.
You closed all the apartment windows, too.
Come on. Really?
You're the best.
Now current lessees, switch to Buick and get this low mileage lease on this 2016 Encore for around $179 per month.
This Friday.
What are you doing? One agent doesn't sweat the big stuff. Improvising. It's the little things
Mac, got a new problem.
that keep this team alive. New MacGyver, CBS Friday.
See it, shoot it, send it to WIVB.com with Report It. Sponsored by the Vinyl Outlet.
Save money and let the vinyl
The Aquarium of Niagara is on a mission to revamp the Humboldt penguin exhibit. Officials say the penguins are aging. They can't breed anymore. Their home needs to be updated to bring in new penguins. This project will cost about $3.2 million.
Well, Todd Santos will have your weekend outlook coming up.
Wake up.
The breakthrough discovery that could help ALS patients and the new technique that could prevent it.
Raindrops arrive Thursday. I'll tell you how much in my forward forecast. Plus any breaking overnight news and all of your morning top stories from 4:30 to 9 a.m.
At Gates Vascular Institute, we ask the most important question. Why? Because no one should have to go it alone. Hope is the most powerful medicine. Every moment matters. And there's no happier ending than coming home. Why do we care? Because we see people, not just patients. And you always give us new reasons to care better.
A well-put-together man is said to be sharp.
At GMC, we get why people appreciate that kind of precision. After all, precision is the kind of sharp that slices through a crowd. This is the precision of professional grade. It's the GMC 2016 model year sell down. Now get 20% below MSRP on select Sierra 1500 models in stock. That's over $10,300 on this Sierra SLT Crew.
What's for dinner tonight? Wegmans Easy Meals. Dinner's not just delicious, it's done. We made it for you. Like this favorite, scallops with garlic pesto sauce. Made fresh every day. It's ready to cook. Just pop it in the oven, put it on your plate. No prep, no cleanup. Delicious, fresh, easy. Wegmans Easy Meals. All right.
M&T Bank. Understand.
The annual Heritage Center's Foundation 5K Run and Walk gets underway this Saturday in downtown Buffalo.
So let's check with Todd Santos to get the weekend outlook. Todd?
Well, it's still a little early to time out exactly the arrival of rain time, but I will at least say we are going to be dodging showers on and off throughout the day on Saturday. Hopefully they can at least leave the 5K alone. Along with a number of other activities, I think the lesser chance for showers will be Sunday, but it's still enough that I have to keep it in the forecast. The system's been slow moving. We've been talking about it pretty much all week long. It'll still be here getting into the weekend. The rosier side of things, the temperatures should still be pushing just around the low 70s for most areas here in western New York, with overnight low temperatures in the 50s both days. So at least that side of things will be nice. We will, though, be dodging these showers on and off really starting tomorrow, but right now it looks like they pick up into especially Friday and Saturday. Don, Jackie?
All right, Todd, and thanks for watching News 4 at 6.
Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News coming right up next. We'll see you back here on News 4 at 11. Nalina's in at 10. Our fours tonight are from Buffalo. Have a good evening.